So this video is going to cover opportunity cost as it relates to the production possibilities curve. So the opportunity cost of producing more of good X is the corresponding amount of good Y that you must sacrifice in order to produce the additional amount of good X. So that definition sounds really confusing, but when you get the hang of it, it's really simple. So the opportunity cost of producing more of good X. So let's say that we're producing none of good X. So we're at this point right here. We're producing 8 units of good Y and we're producing no units of good X. And I should label this again. This is the production possibilities curve, and this is good Y, and this is good X. Okay. So we're producing none of good X. Now to produce those first 3 units of good X, to go from here to here, we only have to sacrifice 1 unit of good Y. So the opportunity cost to go from this point right here over to this point right here of producing the first 3 units of good X is only 1 unit of good Y. So we sacrifice 1 unit of Y for 3 units of X. And so another way of saying that is that the opportunity cost of the first unit of good X is approximately a third of a unit of Y, if we're over here. So now we're going to go ahead and get on to answering some of these questions. The first one is, what is the opportunity cost of producing 8 units of good Y? And this question is intended to say, assume that you are producing no units of good Y. What is the opportunity cost of going from producing no units of good Y, going down here, to going all the way up to here? And the answer is that you have to sacrifice all 8 units of good X. This is what you give up. So to produce 8 units of good Y, your opportunity cost is 8 units of good X. So 8 units of X. And that's the answer. Next one, what is the opportunity cost of producing the 8th unit of good Y? So that's saying, assume that we are right here already. You're already producing 7 units of good Y, and you're producing 3 units of good X. What is the opportunity cost of now going backwards to produce that 8th unit of good Y? And the answer is that you have to give up these 3 units of good X. Because, see, you were producing 3 units of X and 7 of Y. So to produce that extra 1 of Y, you have to give up all 3X. So the answer to what is the opportunity cost of producing the 8th unit of good Y is 3 units of X. And just to go back to our definition, that's the amount that we are having to sacrifice to go ahead and produce that 8th unit of good Y. Okay, now let's go do these blue questions. What is the opportunity cost of producing the first 3 units of good X? Well, that's what we went ahead and did right at the very beginning. That's what we were doing right over here. So to produce the first 3 units of good X, we have to give up 1 unit of Y. So to answer this top question, that's 1 unit of Y. And then what's the opportunity cost of producing the first 3 units of good Y? Well, that's saying that if we start over here to produce the first 3 units of Y, going 1, 2, 3, we have to go ahead and sacrifice 1 unit of X. So we have to move from producing 8X to 7X in order to get 3Y. So then this is 1 unit of X. And what I want to point out here is that the opportunity cost is always quoted in units of the good that you give up. So if you're asked what is the opportunity cost of producing good X, your answer better be some number of good Y. And if it's of producing the first 3 units of good Y, well, your answer better be some number of units of good X, like we have been here. Okay, now we're over to these green set of questions. What's the opportunity cost of producing 2 units of good X? Of producing 2 units of good X. Okay, So, oh, right, I missed this bottom part. If you are already producing 5 units of good x and 5 units of good y. Okay, that makes more sense. So if you're already producing 5 units of good x and 5 units of good y, then you're going to be over at this point right here, which was green, and now I'm going to color in red. And so now what's the opportunity cost of producing another 2 units of good x? Of going from producing 5x to producing 7x. So we want to know what's the opportunity cost of going from here to here. And you see that you have to give up 2 units of y. You can see it over here on this diagram. To go from 5 units of good x to 7 units of good x, you have to subtract 2 from y, go from 5 to 3. And another way you can see that is that right here, you go from 5 to 3, which is minus 2 on the y's. So that is, your opportunity cost is 2 units of y. And that's all that I'm going to say about opportunity cost. If you have any more questions, please feel free to email me and I'll do some more videos, but I think that that's a pretty comprehensive coverage of it.